चैन भी मेरा दर्द भी मेरी आशिकी अब तुम ही हो। Jungkook's eyes fluttered open, a dull throb hammering at his skull. He groaned softly, clutching his head as if pressing it would ease the pain flowing from inside. Forcing himself to up, his body moved sluggishly, like every step heavier than it should be. He stumbled into the bathroom. The fluorescent light burst faintly above him, cold and unforgiving. Leaning over the sink, he twisted the tap open, the rush over water echoing in the silence. He splashed it into his face again and again, as if he could drown the ache in his chest along with the pain in his head. Finally, he raised his gaze on the mirror. The reflection stared back at him, haunted eyes rimmed with fatigue. But it wasn't just him he saw. Behind the glass, memory flickered, his breath hitched, his jaw clenched. A tear broke loose before he could stop it. And then the memory unraveled. He was 5 again, his tiny frame trembling, dirt sneaking. His mother's voice, sharp but breaking, rang in his ears. Son, run as far as you can, I'm fine. The little boy shook his head violently, fist clenched, tears streaming down his face. Uma, her hands gripped his shoulder, shaking him, eyes wide with desperation. Baby, run. Otherwise they'll take you and you'll end up like your father. The sound of her sobbing fractured inside his skull. The grown Jungkook gripped the sink so tightly his knuckle whitened, his chest heavy, breath shuddering. That same helplessness for 20 years ago still gnawed at him, dragging him back into a memory he never asked to keep. The mirror blurred through his tears. He whispered hoarsely, almost to the boy staring back at him. I always wished I could have saved you, Appa. His jaw locked, teeth grinding. A bitter chuckle slipped out hollow and mocking. I always wished you and Oma never met. If you had to, why didn't you just let her go? Why did you drag her into your hell? The words splintered in his throat. He squeezed his eyes shut, shaking his head. And now I'm no better. I'm doing the same thing. History is repeating itself. His breath hitched, body trembling as though every nerve was tearing apart. But what do I do? Tell me. What do I do? I can't breathe without her. It's suffocating. This need. I never realized when she became everything. His hand slid down the sink, clutching it like an anchor as his voice broke into a sob. I love her. I love her so much. It's insane. I love her more than he can ever say. His jaw locked, face tightening as another wave of emotion ripped through him. Maybe I was wrong. I'm not that brave. Not when it comes to her. I'm still afraid. Afraid to lose her forever. Afraid to show her what I really feel. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe I loved her too early. Maybe I loved her the wrong way. His voice cracked as he pressed a hand over his mouth, teeth digging into his palm to stop himself from screaming. And between all this, she is the one suffering. I am the one holding her ear. I am the culprit. And what did she ever do to deserve this? He laughed faintly through his tears, a hollow, painful sound that echoed in the empty bathroom. Loved a man like me? That's her fault, isn't it? What are you gonna do, Jungkook? Push her away again, huh? A faint smile curved his lips, but it was carved from agony, not joy. That's all you have ever done from the start. Push, destroy, ruin. Your desperation poisons everything. You ruined her. The girl with dreams, you dragged her into your hell. A hot tear slid down his cheek, and he wiped it away furiously, almost angrily at himself, shedding it. His reflection in the mirror stared back, hollow-eyed, accusing. He hurriedly rushed down the stairs, his steps heavy but restless. Just he passed by the hallway, his eyes caught the sight of the kitchen, and he froze. Vian stood motionless at the counter, her fingers absently brushing against a glass of water she hadn't touched. Her face looked pale, fragile, almost translucent in a dim light. Her eyes were swollen red and vacant yet drowning in unspoken weight. She wasn't crying now, but the silence around her was louder than any sob. His chest tightened, his throat locked. Jungkook's heart swelled painfully before he could stop himself of his first slip from his lips. Fine. The name burned against his tongue, heavy with regret. He cursed himself internally, cursed the word he would thrown at her, cursed the distance he had built with his own hands, cursed the way she still stood there, broken yet waiting. That was when it hit him with brutal clarity what he had made of her. She had poured every piece of herself into him. She had given until there was nothing left to give, and now, as much as he needed her to survive, she needed him just to breathe. She was ready to sacrifice everything for him, but he's ready to sacrifice himself for her. She took a step forward, her weak frame swaying, yet her smile widened through the world itself had restored. He woke up, she whispered, her voice fragile, breaking, but still sweet. He only stared. I didn't wake you up, you look so tired, so I made breakfast for you. Her smile grew brighter. His throat tightened, the hollowness of her joy stabbed deeper than any blade. She forgot her pain for me. The thought hit him like a curse. Maybe I loved her through fear, through possession, but she loved me without boundaries. She made me her world, her everything. She never cared for herself, only for me. And for the first time, he admitted what terrified him most. I care for her, yes, but not like her, not enough, not the way she deserves. Maybe I never loved her the way she loved me. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. His throat tightened as he watched her, frail, trembling, yet still smiling at him, as if he were the only reason she was alive. The plate in her hand shook, the edge clattering faintly against the table as she set it down. Eat before it gets cold, she whispered. He wanted to scream, to grab her shoulder and shake her until she remembered herself, until she stopped smiling through the pain he has caused. But his body betrayed him, frozen, rigid, caught between rage at himself and the unbearable need to hold her. Her smile lingered, weak and gentle. Even her eyes glistened, she had to build her world around him. And in that moment, he realized he was both her home and her prison. His face curled. Why I can't love her the way she loves me? Why does my love taste like chains while her feels like freedom? Her voice cut into the storm. Don't look at me like that, she said softly, almost pleading, as if she could feel the weight of his guilt. I'm happy. I'm really happy. That lie shattered him more than anything. If you're still mad at me, then fine, don't talk to me, but at least have breakfast. I know you'll come back to me when it feels right. His throat tightened as she stepped closer, wrapping her arms gently around him. Her head rested against his chest. For a second, her smile flickered like a candle in the wind. He wanted to hold her back, but his body froze. Shunu Jungkook, we don't need to be afraid. What are we even afraid of? Her lips curved faintly as she looked up at him. Death? Why fear something that's meant to happen? Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. Do people stop living just because death exists? No. So why should we? He stayed silent, his eyes slipping away, but her hand brushed gently through his hair. I know I'll never truly feel the pain you have carried. Maybe it's too heavy, and if you want to stay broken, if you want to drown in it, I'll stay with you through every storm, through everything. Just believe in us, believe in our love. Her voice softened, trembling but full of devotion. Jacob, I love you. Doesn't that give you strength? Look at me. Look at how strong love has made me. He met her gaze, staring deep into the soul she was bearing it. She thinks love made her strong. but all I see is how miserable she has become because of me. It's just act as a word clawed inside him. She's not the same girl I first met, not the same girl I loved. The version of her she's drowning in him, possessed by her feeling, and I don't even recognize her anymore. It's okay. Come have breakfast. He froze short tight, and then, almost without thinking, the words slipped out, soft but heavy. I'm sorry. Her shoulders relaxed, relief washing over her. You don't need to say it, I understand. She reached out, kissing his hair gently and planting a quick, tender peck on his forehead. Come, have breakfast. Her step faltered when she realized he wasn't moving, his gaze fixed somewhere else. Changuk, breakfast is getting cold. He pulled his hand from hers slowly, deliberately. You can eat. Her breath hitch got off guard. Jungkook, he cut her off, voice hard, body already turning away. I'm getting late. And just like that, he walked away, almost running, leaving her standing there, her hand hung in the air, frozen as she watched him go, not daring to look glance back. Mine stood there, frozen, her hand still hanging in air. The sound of his retreating footstep echoed in the kitchen, and a hollow ache spread through her chest. Her heartbeat thudded painfully against her ribs, each beat a reminder of how much she wanted to reach him and how far he had pushed her away. Mine's hand fell to her chest, her fingers clutching the ring on her finger, as if it could anchor her to him. Her eyes blurred with tears, and her knees threatened to buckle, but she forced herself to stay upright. Jungkook, now I'm scared. I have never felt this kind of fear. I can't lose you again. Her gaze dropped to the floor, then lifted slowly as if trying to see him in the shadows of the hallway. The hollow ache in her chest grew heavier with every echo of his footsteps fading away. You promised me. You promised you wouldn't leave me again. Vine looked at her phone again. No calls, no text from him. Her fingers trembled as she wiped her tears, glancing out the window at the quiet street beyond. The soft touch of her hand on her hair made her flinch slightly as she looked up to see her mother concerned smile. Vine quickly wiped her tears as her mother sat beside her. You okay, dear? Vine nodded, managing a small, shaky smile. Is everything okay between you and Jacob? Vine swallowed hard, nodding again, though her smile quivered slightly. Everything is okay. Her mother sighed softly, studying her. Yeah, Papa told me he talked to Jungkook. I don't think he's completely wrong. It's about life decision after all. Vine rolled her eyes lazily, a mix of frustration and expression. Oma, dear, I'm not saying you should leave him, but you have to be careful. You shouldn't hide things from him. Trust and transparency, they matter more than love and relationship. Vine's lips trembled as she nodded, her throat tight. Daughter, Jungkook isn't fully wrong. His fear, his upsetness, his justifies. How can he trust you again? But you aren't wrong either, baby. Sometimes we just have to be mindful with our decisions. Vine held her mother's hands tightly, tears finally spilling freely. Okay, I won't repeat it again. I'll do everything he says, I promise. If he wants me to leave everything, I'll do it. But Oma, please tell him. His silence is killing me. It hurts so much. He never acted like this. He never turned silent on me. He'll be okay. Give him some time, dear. He'll come back right. Tomorrow is your licensing exam. Yes, focus on that. For now, he wouldn't want you to be distracted either. She broke the hug and reached out for the lunch she brought. I brought lunch for you. Eat something, even a little. Wine eyed her tears, shaking her head. I don't have an appetite. Her mother gave her a pointed look, concerned look. Shall I call him? Tell him you are skipping breakfast. I have stomach pain. I feel nauseous. Wait, you okay, daughter? You should see the doctor if it's serious. Anne shook her head, forcing a small smile. It's okay. Maybe I just didn't sleep well last night. I'll rest. It'll be alright. Her mother exhaled softly, a mix of concern and frustration on her face. Fine, what I'm supposed to do? No one should go through this kind of worry, baby. Take care of yourself too. I'll talk to Jungkook. Oma. Her mother gave her one last comforting squeeze and walked away. Anne pressed her lips together, resting her head against the wall, letting the weight of the silence and her fear press down on her. Jungkook's voice dropped low, dangerous, each word slicing the air. How can you do this to me? The old man chuckled dark and hollow. I don't even know the girl's face, son. How am I supposed to know? The old man's turn went dark, voice calm but laced with menace. Don't you dare to pull that on me again. Don't forget who I am, boy. He chuckled mockingly. Chungu clenched his jaw so tightly his teeth dug into his lower lip. You are a criminal, a failed father, and the worst grandfather I know. Don't blame me for your own misery. You created this yourself. You played the same fire your father did. He leaned in slightly, voice quiet but sharp, calculating. The only thing your father lacked was bravery. You have my aura. But I must say, I'm impressed. You killed Matthew in a single day after years of trying. And for a girl, Jungkook's eyes shot daggers at him. It shows both strength and weakness at the same time. Jungkook's face clenched at his side, the muscle in his jaw twitching. Every word of the old man struck like a blade, igniting a storm of her anger and shame inside him. Strength, weakness. You don't get to decide that for me. You never did. His eyes burned with fury, yet beneath it all, there was something raw, something he couldn't hide, pain, guilt, and fear intertwining. You call yourself family, and this is what you leave behind lies, chaos, destruction, and then you mock me for protecting her. The old man leaned back, a thin smile playing at the corner of his lips, unshaken. You're still so emotional, boy. You think killing Matthew makes you stronger? Or protecting a girl redeems you? Jungkook's vision narrowed, heart hammered, the memory of iron flashing in his mind. Her pale face, her eyes red, her trembling hands, the thought of her pain pierced deeper than any wound he would ever get it. You don't get it. You'll never get it. She's she's everything to me and I. His voice cracked as he struggled to contain the torrent of emotion, rage, guilt, desperation, love, all fighting for the dominance inside him. I can't let her suffer because of me, not ever. The grandfather's expression darkened, a shadow of anger, frustration flickering across his face. I'm stepping out right now. I'm not your blood because my blood isn't that dirty. Don't you dare to snap at me. I said what I said. He moved toward the door, every step heavy with determination. Then you'll end up like your father. Don't forget, the underworld doesn't forgive kings who surrender for a girl. Then I'll burn your underworld to the ground if anyone dares to touch her. He let the words hang, heavy and lethal. This world is bigger than you think, son. The harder you try to escape it, the deeper you sink in. I told your father the same. Attachment kills. You can have a life, your girl, your family, even a kid, but feelings, it will destroy you. Jungkook's jaws tightened, a shiver of disgust running through him. What kind of a man are you? I'm feeling like I'm not even your blood. Hate it or love it. That's your fate, written in your lines, in your hands. If you make the same mistake, you'll lose her. I swear it. You didn't choose this life, it chose you. Jungkook's chest heaved, his hand shook, but his smirk twisted his lips, not from humor but from defiance, from the fire roaring inside him. I hate you, and I don't care. Jungkook's chest heaved, every word of his grandfather slicing through him like a blade. But instead of submission, it ignited something darker. His eyes glinted, fierce and unyielding. I hate you, and I don't care. I'll follow my own path. You think I'm going to let anyone hurt her? Anyone? You're wrong. His fist curled into tight fist at his side, the tremor of suppressed rage running through him. Son, you are blind. Love will be your end. You are treading the same road. No, this is my road, and she is walking it with me. I don't care about your underworld, your rules, your curses. She's mine, and I'll burn everything that touches her. The old man's eyes narrowed, a flicker of grudging respect or maybe fear passing through his gaze. You'll regret this, Jungkook. You're not ready, and this part doesn't forgive. I don't need forgiveness. I need her safe. That's all I need. And I'll fight anyone, even you, if I must. With that, he spun on his heel and stormed out, the door slamming behind him, echoing like challenge. The hallway felt envy, the old man's sword lingering in the air, but Jungkook's mind was stormed out on purpose, protect her. Nothing else mattered. Her hand hovered in air, trembling before it could reach the bell. Fingers curled into a fist as she clutched her back tight, lip pressed into a thin line. Her mind raced, flooded, crashing with the thoughts she couldn't silence. At the entrance, he stopped the instant his eyes found her. His stern gaze softened without his permission, caught in the fragile way that she hesitated, the way her hand shook. He saw it all. A tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it away quickly, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes before ringing the bell. His chest tightened, jaw clenched hard at the sight. Slowly, carefully, he stepped closer, eyes locked on her every move. She hugged herself against the cold, trying to hold herself together. He caught the faint tremor in her body, the pallor in her skin, the exhaustion attached into her tired eyes. He bit back his own tears and slipped off his blazers. She pressed the bell again. That's when she felt it. The sudden warmth draped across her shoulders, goosebumps rippled over her skin as she turned. Her gaze softened instantly. Chakak, the words slipped out barely more than a breath. He wrapped the blazer around her, his expression cold and unreadable, even as its chest burned with storm he couldn't show. Why? Why are you here like this? His voice was low, almost breaking. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out, only a sharp inhale, her throat tightening as her fresh tears threatened. A fake smile faltered, shattering her completely under the weight of his stare. Stepped closer, heart pounding with the pain he couldn't name. Then she swayed, her knees gave way, her body weak to hold herself. Before she could fall, his arms were already there, steady, unyielding. She collapsed against him, her head pressing into his chest, her trembling fingers clutching his shirt, as if letting go meant breaking apart completely. Concern attached across his features, his whole tightened, gentle protective, as he lowered his head, staring at her pale face. She pressed her lips together, resting her forehead against him, and he felt a sharp, sting pain in his own chest. Fine, are you okay? She nodded faintly against him, but it only made his worry deepen. He pulled her back just enough to see her face, his hand cupping her cheeks, his heart raced as he studied her closely, his palm brushing over her clammy skin before pressing to her forehead. No, no, you don't look okay at all. We are going to doctor. She shook her head weakly and buried herself deeper into his chest, arm wrapping tighter around him. I'm okay. His jaw flattened, breath ragged, and a storm of anger and fear clashing inside him. Fine, don't say that. Look at you. You can't even stand without me holding you. But she only pressed her face deeper into his chest, her voice muffled, fragile like breathing glass. Why didn't you call me today? What did I do to deserve this punishment? I said I was sorry. Can't you just forgive me? Why are you acting like this? Her words sliced through him, leaving his heart bleeding in silence. He bit his lips so hard it almost drew blood, his arms tightening around her trembling body until he thought he might break. Tears slid down his cheeks, soaking into her hair. Why? Why weren't you picking up my calls? He closed his eyes, guilt flashing across his features, his voice low and heavy. My phone. It was off. I didn't charge it. She clutched him tighter, her voice shaking, raw with hurt. Why? Did you forget you have a girlfriend too? Someone waiting, worrying, crying for you. How could you? He broke the hug, suddenly pulling back just enough to see her face. His hand cupped her pale cheeks, trembling against her damp skin. He looked at her so fragile, so broken, and it shattered him. Then do one thing, just kill me. Her eyes widened, her trembling hands flew to his mouth, muffling the words, but he pulled it away, desperate, choking. Not today, Wine. Do you even know how many times you have stood right at the edge of death? Do you have any idea what it does to me? Why can't you take care of yourself, even once? Do you like torturing me like this? Watching me go insane every time you collapse? His voice cracked at the end, frustration breaking into raw pain. Her lips trembled, tears pooling until they slipped free. India, why can't you think about yourself, Jungkook? Why are you always more worried about me than your own life? Why do you let yourself hurt like this? His lips parted but no words came. His chest heaved, eyes glassy, his throat locked, and when she gave him a faint, painful smile through tears, he broke. Without a word, he pulled her back into his arms, holding her as if the world could rip her away any second. His embrace was desperate, trembling yet impossibly gentle. Shankuk's fingers fidgeted restlessly, his gaze darting between mine and the doctor, concern attached deep into every line of his face. Mine, meanwhile, avoided his gaze, staring somewhere beyond him, though it grounded her. I feel you haven't been eating properly. This weakness, it's not just from skipping just one meal. Jungkook's eyes snapped to her, sharp with worry. Quite quickly looked away, biting her lip. There's a lot of weakness in her body. The rest seems to comes from not having proper meals. I'm going to write some tests, get them done tomorrow. Wyan nodded silently, feeling the weight of his glare on her. Is it serious, doctor? No, nothing serious. Jungkook let out a long breath of relief, though his hands still twitched. She just needs proper rest and diet. I'm writing the test as a routine checkup, nothing alarming. I'm okay, Shankar. He shot a sharp glare to her. He gently wiped her mouth with a napkin after feeding her, and she just stared at him, silent and fragile. Then he picked up the glass from the table, poured water, and brought it near her lips. She hesitated, not taking a sip. His gaze sharpened. Drink it. She finally sipped, throat heavy, and he let out a relief sigh. He started to get up, but her small hand gripped her wrist, stopping him. What? Ryan clung to him, her body trembling. Don't leave me. Let me take the dishes. I'm not leaving you. I'll be back. But she tightened her hold, refusing to let go. No, no, please don't leave me. He sighed, placing the tray on the side table and gently pulled her onto his lap, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. You're acting like a baby. She broke the hug just to look up at him, eyes glistening. Jungkook, you're scared of losing me, right? Then I won't go out without your permission. I'll do everything you say. I'll leave all this behind. I'll promise. I'll take care of myself. I'll be with you. He froze, shock flickering across his face as tears slid down his eyes. Wine wiped her own tears, desperate. If you say I'll stay in one room, just don't leave me, please. His chest tightened, heart dropping at her words. He leaned closer, pulling her into his arms. Shh, my baby. She broke down completely, sobbing into him. Please don't leave me. He wrapped her tighter, running his fingers through her hair, holding her as if letting go was impossible. Jungkook's arms tightened around her, the warmth of her trembling body pressing into his chest, but it only made his chest ache inside him grow sharper. Her sobs, desperate and unstrained, echoed like a mirror of the chaos he brought into the both of their lives. His mind was whirlwind, memories colliding with the present. He remembered those fierce, sparkling eyes full of dreams and determination, and now only he can see himself in those eyes, and the fear of losing him. Every tear sliding down her cheek was a stab to his heart, a reminder of what he had almost destroyed. His hand went cold, trembling as they rested on her back, and his chest felt tight, suffocating under the weight of the guilt, fear, and love. Words failed him, his throat constricted, leaving only the raw, aching, full of emotion. Jungkook pressed his forehead against her, feeling her warmth, her fragility, and the helpless devotion she offered so freely. Shh, I love you. I won't leave you. No more words could form. There was only the sound of her sobbing against him, the feel of her trembling in his arms, and the unshakable truth he couldn't escape that without him she might crumble entirely, and he could never forgive himself if he let that happen. Let her tighter, letting his heart speak through the embrace, letting her know without words that he would never let go. He pressed a long kiss on the side of her head as a tear slid from his eyes. I don't know how to live without you, he hissed in pain. Jungkook tightened his hold, his own chest rising and falling in ragged gasp, his forehead pressed against hers. Neither I can't. I won't survive without you either. He ran his finger through her hair, brushing away the tears that fell freely, his thumb stroking her cheeks gently. Every trembling breath of hers tore at him, every tear carving guilt and desperation deeper into his heart. Ryan lifted her head slightly, just enough to look at him, her eyes glistening. Then promise me you'll never leave me, not ever. Chungo cupped her face in his hands, his thumbs tracing her jawline, voice low breaking. I swear I'll never leave you. Not for anything, not for anyone. He carefully tucked the duvet around her, the warmth settling over her like a shield against the world. The sudden ring of her phone made both of them freeze. Oma, Wine whispered, voice small and tired, reaching for the phone, but Jungkook's hands was already over it, his finger closing around hers. She looked up at him, startled, vulnerable. She must be wondering why I'm not home yet. I'll talk to her. Just stay here. Stay with me tonight. He pressed her gentle kiss to her forehead, feeling her relaxed into warmth of his presence. He stood, phone in hand, and walked to the balcony. Vine's gaze followed him and softened, almost heavened. Her face unguarded for the first time, what felt like forever. When he returned, he carefully climbed onto bed, brushed her hair from her face, and smiled, arms wide, a mixture of pain and relief. Without hesitation, she leapt, and they clung to each other like their very lives depends on it. Her fingers dug into his shirt, his arms wrapped tightly around her, their foreheads pressed together. Rest tonight, just rest. She nestled closer, shaking her head slightly, tears glinting in her eyes. I'll end all your suffering, I promise. This time I swear I'll end it. She pulled back slightly, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. I love you. He pressed a kissed, tender back to her lips, lingering just enough to convey all the words he couldn't say. I love you too. They stayed like that, gaze locked, breathing in each other's presence, the weight of the world momentarily forgotten. She let out a faint chuckle, breaking the silence. I have something for you. She moved away just enough to grab a small rock from the table. Jungkook's gaze never left her. A mix of curiosity and protective concern attached across his features. From a bag, she pulled out a small box, sliding it open to reveal a ring. Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached out for his hand. I brought this for you. She carefully slid the ring onto his finger. For a moment, the room was silent except for the sound of their breath. Jungkook didn't speak. He just stared at the ring, and at the intensity of the love reflected in her eyes. His heart raced and his chest tightened with the mixture of awe, disbelief, and fierce protective love. He smiled faintly. The pain was clearly visible in his smile when he kissed her forehead. He smiled faintly, though the pain behind it was unmistakable, and pressed a soft kiss to her forehead. No sleep, he murmured as he arranged the pillows behind her, gently guiding her to lie down. She watched him with tired, shining eyes. He lay beside her, their faces close, a quiet understanding in their shared gaze. A faint, almost shy smile tugged at both of their lips. Why are you looking at me like that? She shook her head and he pulled her closer, their warmth mingling. Sleep tonight, baby. We'll stare at each other tomorrow. She chuckled softly through tears and rested her head against his chest. Thank you for coming into my life. He hummed, eyes tracing the ceiling, a smile soft yet bittersweet, tears pulling at the edges. Thank you for loving me. She hummed against his chest. Finally, calm, he turned off the light, letting the darkness wrap around them. He stared at her peaceful face, at the soft rise and fall of her breath before glancing toward the window. Moonlight painted the room silver. Tears slid down his cheek, his smile fading slowly. I'm sorry. She drifted into sleep and he remained awake, eyes tracing the moon outside. His hand continued to move, patting her head gently, his mind and heart lost in thought, exhaustion in his eyes deep. He could not let himself close them, not while she was there. Jungkook remained still, the quiet of the room pressing in around him. His thumb traced gentle circles over her knuckles, over the ring that bound them, a tether stronger than words. He lifted their hands slightly, bringing them closer to his chest, as if holding both of her, and the promise they have shared against his heart could make the world stop for a moment. The moonlight shifted, painting her hair in silver strands. He exhaled slowly, resting his forehead against her, careful not to wake her. Sleep well, love. He whispered, though it was as much a promise to himself as to her. His eyes drifted back to the ceiling, fixed yet unfocused, lost in thought. The moonlight painted shadow across his face, catching the tears that had not yet fallen. He inhaled slowly as if breathing her it could keep her near forever. She splashed cold water on her face, watching the droplets slide down her pale skin. When she finally lifted her gaze to mirror, she didn't recognize the girl staring back, eyes red, lips pressed tight, a secret heavy behind them. Her phone screen lit up on the counter. One glance was enough for the truth to hit. Like a knife, she pressed her lips tight. A sudden knock startled her, and she flinched. My She quickly wiped her face with towel, as if that could erase the evidence of the breakdown, and she pulled the door open. He stood there, brows furrowed, eyes scanning her face as though trying to read what she was saying. She looked at him the way he hides her wound, desperate for it not to be touched, yet aching for someone to notice. He stepped closer, his voice careful but etched with urgency. Today was your licensing exam. Her chest tightened, she dropped her gaze, her shoulders sinking for a second. She considered lying, but her silence bettered her. And I'm asking you, it was today. Slowly she nodded. His breath caught surprise flickering across his face before he reached up and cupped her cheeks. His touch was warm, grounding, but his eyes searched her with a quiet storm. You forgot it. Her lips parted, hesitating, then she exhaled sharply. No, I wasn't prepared. I didn't study. For a heartbeat, he didn't react, like he wasn't shocked so much. Thrown his gaze softened, but he didn't let her look away. I'll try in next batch. He didn't even look, didn't move toward it. His eyes were still on her, unshaken. Finally, a slow blink. He shifted as his phone rings, but instead of reaching for the phone, his hand lifted, hesitant, deliberate, and in the next heartbeat, he pulled her into his embrace. It wasn't rough nor desperate, just firm grounding. Her breath caught, her eyes closed on their own, and for a sustained moment, the world outside ceased to exist. No words passed, no phone mattered. Just the thud of his heart against her ear, the shiver of her own tears threatening to fall again. His jaw tightened against her temple, guilt clawing through the cracks of his chest. He pressed her closer not because he had to write, but because he didn't trust himself to let go. Everything will be alright. But it sounded less like a promise, more like a prayer. His chest tightened when it felt her hug him back, without hesitation, without restraint, as if she didn't see the ruins he thought he would make of her, as if she still believed in him. Her lips brushed into his neck. A tear slid down his cheek as he kissed the side of her head, burying his face in her hair. His heartbeat pounded against her ear, uneven, desperate. For the first time in a long time, he didn't know he was holding her together, if she was wholly keeping him from falling apart. Very much better with you. He broke the hug, cupping her face, smiling faintly. What would you like to eat? Tell me, I'll make it. She smiled, lifted her hand over his, and kissed it softly. Don't overdo it, I'll get habituated. His eyes softened as he kissed her cheek. I want to do so much for you. If it's in my hand, I'll give you everything, including all of me. Spoil you with my love, make you mine. She smiled, tiptoed, and kissed his forehead. Love me this much? She asked, and he kissed her forehead again. So much, words will never be enough to explain how much I love you. He murmured against her skin, and she smiled tiredly. Then let your actions explain it. Love me so hard that everything around me fades. He hummed, eyes fixed on her. The phone rang again. Her gaze clicked toward it, then back at him, catching the way he was still looking at her. Your phone, he sighed, finally pulling back a little. Let's have breakfast quickly, then I have to head out. She only nodded, smiling faintly. He turned as to leave, then suddenly stopped, smacking his forehead. Ah, I forgot we have to go for your test, right? Okay, first we'll go to hospital, then I'll. Before he could finish, she pressed a finger gently against his lips. Relax. You have already started acting like my husband. His lips curved, head tilting as his eyes lingered on her with quiet warmth. Oma is going with me. You don't need to worry. Just finish your work, then tonight we'll go on date. He pretended to think it over, his lips pulsed in mock seriousness. But your appointment is important to her. I can come. I'm fine. I know I was just deficient of you because you weren't talking to me. The words hung in the air, half confession and half an ache, and his gaze softened guilt and tenderness mingling all at once. He reached for her hand, wrapping it in his, thumb brushing across her knuckles. His gaze was narrowing, raw. Don't ever feel deficient of me again. Even when I'm silent, even when I'm away, you are still all I'm breathing for. Her eyes glistened, lips trembling into faintest smile. She squeezed his hand back, steady, sure. For a long moment they just stared at each other. He didn't waver until it grew heavy and watery. His fist tight. And I promise I'll make everything right. She only looked at him silent, and that was enough. Slowly, almost carefully, he leaned in, his breath brushing against hers. Before he pressed his lips to her, Vine's eyes fluttered shut instantly, her hand tightening around his. As he kissed her, slow, unhurried, a soft dead burn carried all words he couldn't say. Don't ever leave me. He only hummed against her lips, deep and quiet as unspoken woe stretched between them. Where are you, Jungkook? I'm driving Jung. The faint hum of the engine cut through the line, his breath uneven against the static. Taehyung's brows furrowed, his grip on the phone tightening. Are you okay? Jungkook just hummed, a sound so fragile it barely passed its confirmation. Silence stretched, heavy between them, the kind that carried a thousand unspoken truths. Taehyung's lips parted to push further, but before he could, Hyung, I ruined her. The words tore out of him, cracked mid-breath. Taehyung's blood jolted, his chest tightening at the weight of the confession. He didn't need the details. The tremor in his voice already told him enough. The guilt, the self-hatred, the fear of no return. The steering wheel creaked faintly as Jungkook's lips tightened, his knuckle whitening in dark. Jungkook, look at the road. Just breathe first. Talk to me after. Don't do this to yourself while driving. But I'll end this. Thea exhaled slowly, closing his eyes, grounding himself. I heard you went to meet him. On the other hand, Jungkook let out a bitter sigh. Yeah, they have been after me since then, still searching like hungry dogs. Don't worry, we'll find a way out of this. Just drive safe first, okay? A small broken laugh slipped through the line. I'm not going back to it, Hyung. I'm already so damn tired. The young's throat tightened, he hummed faintly, nodding even though Jungkook couldn't see it. Then Jungkook's voice softened, dropping to a whisper so fragile. Hyung almost missed it. Thank you for that day, for taking care of her when I wasn't there. Can, can you keep do that in future too if I'm not there? Taehyung's brows shot up, his chest twisting violently at the implication. Where are you? Share me your location. Right now I'm coming to you. Did you take painkillers? I nodded, pressing her lips together tightly, guilt flickering in her eyes. I thought it was just cramps, so I just... Her words trailed off. Mayan, you're pregnant. You could have caused a miscarriage. Do you even realize that? Mine froze mid-breath, her body stiffening, her brow furrowed, eyes wide, heart racing. I'm sorry, ma'am. The doctor exhaled heavily, shaking her head with a mix of frustration and concern. You are 4 weeks along, and your pregnancy is complicated. Vine's hands trembled slightly as she pressed them to her lap, trying to process the words. Her mind spun, a mixture of fear, disbelief, and a strange flicker of hope threading through panic. Are you sure, ma'am? You are a medical student, right, Vian? Those symptoms are clearly screaming what's changing in your body. I, I didn't notice. I thought it was just fatigue. This isn't just fatigue, Vian. Your body is going through major changes, and you have to act carefully now. Vian swallowed hard, her hands curling into fist in her lap. The weight of the reality was sinking in and cold and heavy. The doctor's word echoed in her ear, reverberating through her mind like persistent drumbeat. She walked dry, mindlessly drawn to corridor, her chest tight, each step heavy, as if the weight of the world suddenly pressed down to her. Her thoughts collided with disbelief, fear, and a tiny fragile thread of hope that she didn't know how to hold on to. She pulled her phone out almost instantly, seeking something familiar to anchor herself. The first message across her screen from Jungkook. Her chest tightened further, her fingers hovering over his knees. She hesitated, a mix of longing and panic swirling in her gut. She opened his contact to call him, to hear a voice that might steady her. When suddenly her phone rang, she exhaled shakily before answering. Yes, Mr. Kim Taeyang. Her voice trembled, fragile like glass, and next instant, a single tear escaped her eyes, tracing a cold path down her cheek. Her body shuddered uncontrollably, the chill crawling through her bones. The remote slipped from her hands, scattering on the floor. Her mind went blank. After that, she couldn't hear anything. Young, I don't want her to destroy herself more because of me. Damn it, Shankuk, calm down. Nothing is her fault. You are not the reason. Please understand. Young, I can't live without her. But he swallowed hard, his chest tight, words stumbling out in desperation. I I can't keep watching her hurt herself for a man like me. Every time I see her, I feel like I'm poisoning her life, pulling her into a dangerous she doesn't deserve. Silence hung heavy, broken only by Jungkook's tight breathing. I have to walk away from her life to protect her from me, from everything surrounds me. I can't let her pay the price for my mistakes. Jungkook, listen to me. Running away won't protect her. She loves you. You think stepping back will shield her, but it will break her heart. You can't do this alone. Jungkook's hands gripped the steering wheel tighter, knuckles white, as his chest heaved with every ragged breath. The city lights blurred past him, streaks of red, yellow slicing through the dark of the night. Gaps like a chaos in his one time pain is better than dying every day. And they aren't going to leave me. I won't drag her in my world when I'm surrounded by this dark world. Stehang's panic voice cracked through the phone, but Shankuk barely heard it. Shankuk, listen to me. What are you talking about? Stop. Shankuk's eyes flickered to the rearview mirror, catching the distant blurred taillights, but he didn't slow his eyes. His voice cold, steady, carrying a weight of frightened even himself. As long as a person has hope, it exists. The moment they realize it's gone, even their hope disappears. I have to walk away from her life to make her vision clear. The engine roared loudly, the tires gripping the fast like he was trying to outrun the storm inside him. Taeyang's voice came again, frantic, pleading. Jungkook, don't do this, please talk to me. Jungkook pressed harder on accelerator. The sound of the call cut out with a sharp beep as he hung up. Silence enveloped him, broken by only the hum of the car, the roar of his own heart. He looked at the ring in his finger and smiled in pain. Today my fear won and my love lost. He pressed harder on the escalator, the car surging forward. It was fueled by his despair. It's necessary to walk away from your life like this, otherwise, you won't hate me for loving you. As a single tear slides and he wiped it, he glimpsed the empty horizon ahead, gripping the wheel tighter. If destiny wills, we will meet again. A sudden horn blurred, piercing through the cacophony of his thoughts. Jungkook's eyes widened, panic flashing as he slammed the brakes, tires screeching against Alfast. Time seemed to slow, the world scratched and twisted blur in the lights and the motion. Everything collided, the screech of the metal and the scattering glass, and the terrifying crunch that ripped through the silence. His body jerked violently, the world spinning uncontrollably around him, and then nothing. The ditch is so deep. I don't think he survived, sir. See the car's condition. The young rose remained still, rigid as if carved from stone. Sir, we heard from locals that car was speeding. CCTV shows he ran two red signals. Thing swallowed hard, dragging his gaze toward her. She stood at the distance, motionless, her eyes vacant and hollow, as if all feeling had drained away not a single tear. Her parents supported her, their hands trembling as they tried to anchor her in the moment. So, we can declare him dead. Nothing survived that impact. The young's jaw tightened, his throat constricted, he blinked rapidly, fighting the storm inside, but his body refused to betray the raw, goning pain clawing at his chest. All he could do was watch her, frozen in despair, and feel the weight of a tragedy that no words contained. Shimon and Jin rushed to the scene, spotting the young Richard lost in the storm of his thoughts. Shimon grabbed by him by the shoulder. Panic written across his face. Any update? Did you find him? The young's gaze flicked toward the officer, the weight of the truth pressed down on him. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Instead, he shook his head slowly, the gesture heavy with unspoken despair. The car destroyed completely, nothing survived. Our investigation team scoured the area. Nothing except for these few items. He extended a small bundle of items, torn pieces of his jacket, a broken phone, and a shattered watch. Jimin's hands trembled as he recognized them instantly. She stood at a distance, expressionless, as if the world no longer held meaning, her parents barely supporting her. And this is a clear case of suicide. We retrieved the last phone recording, it confirms that. Silence fell over the group. The air felt heavy, suffocating, each heartbeat echoing like a drum in the hollow space between them. Taehyung's knees nearly buckled, Jimin's grip on tightening, and all around them remnants of a life ended so soon lay scattered like a cruel, unforgivable puzzle. Should we proceed with closing this case? It's been more than 24 hours. Taehyung's heart tightened, but no words came. His chest ached, and his gaze remained fixed on her, helpless and desperate. Another officer spoke up. We can close the case, we got orders. The other nodded in agreement and they walked away, leaving the group behind. Payan moved forward, her steps slow and hollow, living like a shadow. Her parents tried to hold her, to guide her, but she shrugged them off, their hands slipping through her like mist. She didn't speak, didn't look around, just walked with airy emptiness that made the world around her feel colder. Taeyang followed her, his face quaking to weight in his chest. Mine listened. She didn't. She ignored him completely, opening the door to her car and sliding inside, her movements mechanical. She moved forward like a ghost, each step slow and hollow. Her mother reached out, trembling, trying to stop her, but Wyatt didn't respond. She kept walking toward her room, exchanging only a brief, empty glance with her father. His eyes were brimming with tears, followed her every step, helpless as his daughter remained motionless, not a single word, not a single tear, since the news had it. Fine, baby, listen to me. She stepped onto the first stair, reaching out again, her voice trembling as she tried to break through the numbness. Fine, he's dead. He's no more. Can you hear me? Shankuk is gone. Mine froze mid-step, standing on the stair, her back to them. She remained motionless for what felt like an eternity, the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulder. Her mother's hand shook as she tried again, voice cracking with desperation. Ayan, baby, you can cry, please. Just don't stay silent. Cry, my baby, let it out. Mine's shoulder trembled slightly, but her face remained stoic, eyes vacant. Her mother's sobs filled the empty space, echoing off the walls. She continued to plead, praying that her daughter's heart would break open just enough to let the grief in. She continued to walk upstairs, each step heavy and unfeeling, her mother trailing behind, calling softly, pleading her, but Twine didn't respond. The silence between them was suffocating, broken only by the soft creak of the stairs beneath her weight. She closed the door quietly, sank to the floor, pressing her back against it. She looked around the familiar space, yet it felt alien now. Everything muted, cold, colorless, distant. Her eyes didn't focus, her gaze empty. Slowly, her hand drifted to her belly, a small, almost unconscious gesture. And she rested her head against the door, as if pressing herself it into it could somehow ground her. She heard a soft knock, hesitant but persistent, and sobbing voice pierced through the quiet. Why? Vian's gaze flickered toward the door, but her body didn't move. It was as if every muscle, every thought, every instinct had been numbed, frozen by the shock and grief that had taken over her. The voice of someone who cared, someone who loved her, couldn't pull her from the voice she had sunk into. Then her phone vibrated against the floor beside her. The screen lit up, casting a small cold glow in the dim room. Her fingers twitched as is drawn to it, almost reflexively. She picked it up slowly, the sight of Jungkook's name flashing on the screen making her chest tighten. Painfully, her thumb hovered above the call button, frozen. And for a moment, the world outside her grief, the knocks, the voices, even her mother's distant calls faded. Then a voice message popped up as she played it. Her hand shook as she held her phone, and the small device suddenly feeling unbearably heavy. His voice poured out of the speaker, raw, broken, filled with guilt and desperation, every word trembling. It was straight from his heart. Hi, Ryan. I love you. You know that, right? Yes, I love you. I don't know how to start and I don't know how to say it. I just say it anyway. I'm going from your life forever. I'm sorry. Covered it, right? Yes, I'm covered. It's been a lot since you were suffering. We were living in a loop. And it's not that I haven't tried, but I am ashamed to say I failed. Yes, I failed. That's why I'm going. I'm breaking the promise and I won't ask you to forgive me. Don't shed those precious tears for a man like me. It was already unbearable living without you, so I'm ending this life. I left with no choice, Ira. Her hand shook violently, the phone felt like a lead, unbearable. Yet she couldn't let go. His voice carried on, tearing her apart piece by piece. I have no regrets, whatever the time I have spent of my life. I have spent it well with you. But you, please forget me, as if I've never existed. Her chest heaved, a sob clawing out of her throat. A silent tear slid down her cheek, burning its spot. She pressed the phone against her heart, traveling her eyes, catching the ring, glinting on her finger. His words rushed back, his promises, his vows, every one a blink. Then, in sudden, overwhelming wave of emotion, she hurled the phone away, the sound of the crashing against the wall echoing the quiet room. She moved her ring harshly and threw it somewhere in her room. Then came collapsed. Her body convulsed with sobs, raw and unstrained. Each cry ripped through her chest like fire, filling the room with sound of her breaking. Her mother's trembling voice called from behind the door. Why now? Mine's mom's voice burst out, jagged and shattered, cutting through the walls like a knife. She screamed back, the anguish in her voice silenced. I hate you, John Jungkook. Her voice broke into repeated wails, each one of the grief of death. Her tears flowed freely now, soaking the floor, her cries echoing raw, unfiltered, as if the sound alone could somehow carry away the unbearable weight of his absence. The room was filled with nothing but grief, wild, untamed, all consuming, a storm of pain that refused to be silenced.